It's time for Thunder at the Fair with Mitch Nellis.
Broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
And welcome in to day one of the Wisconsin State Fair. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. Normally you hear me from 9 to 11 as part of the Mason Crosby Show. But today, tomorrow, and all of next week, we are here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Cannot wait to bring this to you. We are powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we are just, it is absolutely packed here at the Wisconsin State Fair. The lines, the cars to get in, the people to get in. Once you're in, the lines for food, and there is everything here. Charlie, you want some alligator? You get some alligator. You want some funnel cake? You get some funnel cake. You want some flavored milk? You get some flavored milk. You want some deep-fried Snickers? You want some deep-fried Oreos? You go get your deep-fried. You want your meat on a stick? They've got every meat on a stick. They've got chicken and waffles on a stick. They've got everything your heart could desire right here at the Wisconsin State Fair. And that's right, I am joined by Charlie WISN. Charlie, how you doing, big fella?
I'm doing great. I saw an elote pizza that they had there. That's what I'm excited for, like a Mexican corn pizza. That sounds good.
That does sound amazing. I'm a big fan of the dill pickle pizza as well.
Yep.
I'm a big pickle guy. So we are here. I'm here 11 to 2. Sparky's here with Wisconsin Sports Daily from 2 to 5 every weekday, today, tomorrow, and all next week. Remember, you can listen to The Fan online on the free Odyssey app, also the free iHeart app. You can also watch us on YouTube. We're not up just yet at the fair, but we are efforting to make that happen. So make sure you are constantly tuned to our YouTube channel, where you can watch Pack-A-Day Radio, where you can watch The Mason Crosby Show, where you can watch Wisconsin Sports Daily. Today is not only opening day at the Wisconsin State Fair, but as we all know, today is the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and we are locked to our phones. We are locked to all the websites. We are watching everything go on, and I don't know if I was asleep or half asleep, or if I was asleep and then woke up. But at some point last evening, the big domino dropped. The main domino dropped. And you know we're talking about Eugenio Suarez. Eugenio Suarez, who the Yankees had been talking to. The Cubs had been they'd been talking to the Diamondbacks about. The Yankees, the Cubs, the Mets, the Brewers, the Mariners. And finally, the Mariners, who got Josh Naylor, the first baseman from Arizona, a couple days ago, they made the move for Eugenio Suarez. They don't give up a ton to get him either. They gave up a decent amount. Sources are still reporting that they are finalizing the trade, and that I don't think it's completely done yet. There is a medical review, I'm sure, for the prospects, but also for Eugenio, who did get hit on the finger a couple days ago. The MRI and the x-rays came back clean, but I'm sure they're looking at it one more time. Suarez is 34. He ranks 5th in the majors with 36 home runs. He was on the Mariners in 22 and 23. I don't know if he got a voice in the matter. I don't know if he got to request certain trade destinations, but certainly going back to a place that he is familiar with, that he has played with. And listen, as Milwaukee Brewers fans, we just saw the Seattle Mariners. And yeah, the Brewers won 2 out of 3, but we know that the Mariners are a good team, and Suarez is just going to make them better. The Mariners have some really, really, really good pitching. Suarez is going to make them better. We don't have to worry about that for now. You know, part of not getting Suarez was the question, well, would he go to the Chicago Cubs? Are the Cubs going to be the team that steps in and gets Suarez? Well, and then we found out Paredes, the third baseman who was on Tampa last year, got traded to the Cubs. The Cubs got rid of him during the offseason. He was with the Astros. Could he have gone to the could Suarez have gone to the Astros? The Astros didn't make that move either. They made a different move for a different infielder. Eugenio Suarez, not the Brewers' problem, but not the Brewers' solution either as we look at the trade deadline. Some other big moves that are coming, and I was listening to the Fan last night, and it was a fun listen. I had a poker game last night. Charlie, did you play poker?
Sometimes. I'm not very good at it, which I don't think anybody's very good at poker technically, but
I'm not. Well, then you're invited to my game whenever you
All
want.
right.
Then you open invitation. You can always come. I played in a new game in Tosa last night. I did pretty well, but on the way home, I was listening to the Fan, and it was like I got through like 2 or 3 different segments. Each segment, it seemed like there was a new trade to report. Some of them were major, some of them were minor. I'm looking at the list of trades right now. San Diego making a big move. They get Mason Miller, the closer from the A's. Charlie, I almost said Oakland A's there.
You were pretty close.
Yeah, the Sacramento A's, the almost Las Vegas A's. Mason Miller is, and the only time we as Brewers fans see Mason Miller is the 3 times we play the A's a year or at the All-Star game. And it seems like at the All-Star game, he always shows up and just mows people down. And because the A's don't really get any other, although they have some young hitters, so they have some other All-Stars now. But we've seen Mason Miller there at the All-Star game. Mason Miller goes to San Diego, and they also get starter J.P. Sears. I don't know a whole lot about him, but the Padres and the A's make a move. The Mets have made a couple trades to shore up their bullpen. They get closer Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals, who's kind of a shell of his former self. Charlie, would you say that? Like, Ryan Helsley's not nearly as good as he was 2-3 years ago, right?
No, but he also feels like a guy that if you put him into the right situation on the right team, which I think he's going to, a team that's a little bit better suited for pitching development, I think he can probably get back to a pretty high level there.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for that. They make some other deals. So we're watching all these deals come through. I'm just like hitting reload on my MLB news and just trying to figure out everything that's going on. Shane Bieber, the starter from the Guardians, who's been a former Cy Young Award winner, who hasn't been, he's coming back from an injury, but the Toronto Blue Jays make a deal for there. And the reason that's relevant is, of course, over the past week or 10 days, the Brewers and the Blue Jays have been in that conversation for best record in Major League Baseball. It's been the Brewers, the Cubs, and the Blue Jays. The Tigers are now back in that conversation. The Dodgers are now back in that conversation. But the Blue Jays, similar to the Brewers, are one of these teams where maybe we didn't expect quite this much from them at the beginning of the season, but they've gotten hot, they've stayed hot, and they figured it out. So Bieber won the Cy Young in the COVID-shortened 2020 season. He had season-ending elbow injury after two starts. In 2024, he's 30. He has not pitched in the majors since then. He's had 3 minor league rehab starts. His most recent outing, Double-A, 57 pitches, struck out 7. He was expected to rejoin Cleveland sometime in August. Now will be joining the Blue Jays, who have a pretty decent starting rotation now. We're going to keep you locked and loaded, so don't go anywhere. Whether it's me from 11 to 2, Thunder at the Fair, or Sparky with Wisconsin Sports Daily when he's here from 2 to 5, we are going to be just completely tuned in to the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Charlie's back there at the station. And Charlie, if you see breaking news before I do, you have carte blanche. You have complete permission to just jump in and interrupt me no matter what I'm doing. If I have a guest, it doesn't matter. You just go right ahead.
I feel can.
What was that?
I said I can.
Yep. You're not here right now, but I don't know if it's where we are. I don't know if it's windy everywhere, but I feel like Jack and Van for the next 6 hours are literally just going to be holding up signs. The step and repeat has fallen numerous times. The tent hasn't fallen, but it keeps shifting over and moving. It is a fun little wind tunnel we're in right now. So if you're looking for us at the fair, we are in the corner of the Expo Center that faces the Milwaukee Mile. So, you know, the Expo Center is huge. It's got everything in it. You can get your knives sharpened by 47 different people. And I'm sure you can do all sorts of other. You can probably buy a sofa or an RV or a boat. They have the boat show here and the RV show here. I feel like Stay Fair, you can buy all of them. Like, you can just go and do whatever you want. But we are outside We are facing the Milwaukee Mile and facing the Milk House, if you know where the Milk House is, for those of you who know, IYKYK. And if you turn the corner, it's like that long row of food, all sorts of, there's the cheesesteaks, there's the alligator bites, there's tacos, there's chicken and waffles on a stick, all those sorts of things. But we're going to keep you updated really on the MLB trade deadline. We've got so much to get to on the show today. Mark Baden, meteorologist from our WISN 12 affiliate, Channel 12. I see some camera people like right across the way over here. He's going to be joining us at 11:40 to give us the weather update for the fair, but he's also going to be, he's a huge sports fan. So we're going to be talking Brewers, we're going to be talking Packers with him as well. At 12:20, Peter Bukowski from Locked On Packers is going to join us and just take us inside practice. The Packers, of course, had the day off yesterday, but back at it today. So we'll keep you updated on everything that happened. Any more fights, any more Matt LaFleur losing his brain and screaming at everybody. We will get you updated with that. At 12:40, Tim McCormick with the fair is going to jump on and tell us about all the new food and the Sporkies and all the cool stuff they've got here. And then in the 1 o'clock hour, Jeff McCarthy from Bank 5-9. They're the title sponsor of the main stage, the amphitheater here. So he's going to tell us about all the great acts coming. But he's a huge Wisconsin sports fan. Bank 5-9 does a lot of sports sponsorships around the community. So we're going to talk, the conversation is Packers. The conversation is Brewers. The conversation is the Major League Baseball trade deadline and what the Brewers may or may not do. So when we have guests on the show today, tomorrow, next week, sports is number one. We're going to be talking sports with all of our guests, and then we might give them, we'll let them tell us what they're up to. But we are focused and locked in on sports. Going back, and of course, I was at the Brewers-Cubs game yesterday, so in the next segment, we're going to talk about that specifically. Charlie, before we get to that, any trades, anything noticeable to you? I guess some of the things I'll shout out real quick. The Tigers got a reliever from the Guardians. They get, is it Paul Sewald?
Yep.
Paul Sewald. I know the Twins traded closer Duran to the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies bullpen has been an absolute mess. But the Phillies, again, are another one of those teams that are battling for the top of their division. They and the Mets just keep flip-flopping in the NL East, also battling for the best record in the National League with the Brewers, with the Cubs, with the Dodgers. So we're keeping an eye on what the Phillies do, and that's a pretty good acquisition for them. Anything jump out to you so far, Charlie? Anything that's on your radar when it comes to the MLB trade deadline?
I think the biggest thing that's stuck out to me so far is that Shane Bieber's been really the only starting pitcher that's been moved. I felt like that this would be a deadline where more teams like the Cubs, like other teams like the Phillies that are fighting for the top of their league, top of their division, that they'd want to shore up a little bit of that starting pitching rotation. And part of the reason I'm a little frustrated that hasn't gone anywhere is because the Brewers have a stockpile of starting pitching that they could move on from to get players like a Eugenio Suarez if he were to still be available, and it just isn't happening. So I'm a little confused on why that's not happening.
All right, so when you say stockpile of starting pitching, Charlie, I guess my challenge back to you would be, yes, it's a stockpile, and yes, we've seen Logan Henderson pitch 3 Major League starts. Yes, we saw Tobias Myers pitch very well this year, but we don't know what we have now. I don't know that the stock is so high for Chad Patrick after what he did, although he showed he's competent. I don't know if he showed he's much more than that. What would you be comfortable giving up if you're the Milwaukee Brewers? I don't know that. I don't. Suarez is obviously out of the conversation now, but who of those guys are you comfortable giving up on at this point?
I mean, if I'm looking at guys that are in that starting rotation at the major league level already, Jose Quintana is somebody that I'm willing to give up. I think that's somebody they can move on from and still get some kind of value from another contender, maybe somebody in the American League, hopefully. I think I look at guys like Robert Gasser coming back healthy here eventually. He's doing a couple rehab starts in AAA over the past couple weeks here. Like you said, Tobias Myers, Chad Patrick, even a Logan Henderson to some degree. Yes, their value may not be as high as it probably could be, as it probably has been in the past, but at the same time, they still have value there. And this Brewers team, whether people want to tell you that they don't need to make moves or not, I truly just don't believe in that. They have holes on this team that they can address, and they have pieces that are worth something. Yes, Tobias Myers may not be worth what he was last season, or Chad Patrick may not be worth what he was at the beginning of the season, but they're still worth something in order to help improve this team, maybe in the bullpen to get a couple arms there, or maybe somebody at that third base shortstop position that's maybe not as big of a name as a Suarez, somebody that can still help you out and give you a little bit of depth at that position as well.
I can't believe that the Brewers aren't going to make a move to make shortstop better. And that doesn't mean they're going to make a move for a starting shortstop. It might be they make a move for a veteran backup who can spell Ortiz or do something. If they made a move for a starting shortstop, it actually wouldn't shock me. But because I think that's the hole. I think that position is the hole. I think it's obvious at this point. You know, I saw the stat that in his last 20 games, he's got 14 hits and 14 strikeouts. And, you know, it's just not happening for Joey Ortiz this season. But I'm also, maybe I'm more hesitant than others to trade some of those pitchers. Like, if you think you can win something this year, I don't think you give up a guy like Jose Quintana, because I think veteran pitching is what gets it done in the playoffs. And we've seen that Mizorowski is great, but I don't count on Mizorowski to go 7 or 8 innings. We know Brandon Woodruff's great, but I don't count on Brandon Woodruff to go 7 or 8 innings. So I think you're going to need those, you know, whether it's Quintana, Peralta, if Cortez comes back healthy, and then, of course, what Krim Priester's done. Like, you're going to need those guys to at least give your bullpen a break, because you can't just burn out your bullpen. If you want to go far in the playoffs, you can't burn out your bullpen in the first series. Now, I understand you got to get past the first series, and they may not have the hitting to do that. But I'm very hesitant to trade any of the. I guess Myers and Patrick are the guys I'd look to trade, but I don't know that anybody wants Myers or Patrick. Like, I don't know what you're getting for Myers and or Patrick at this point. Clearly not Suarez, because I'm guessing that Matt Arnold told them that they could have one or both of those guys for Suarez, and I'm sure the immediate answer was no on those guys. So
probably a laugh in their face, yeah.
Exactly. So we will see. And we know that the Brewers have a ton of position players in the minors as well that could be that the Brewers want to hang on to, but they may want to see what happens. My name is Mitch Nellis. This is Thunder at the Fair, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM. The Fan. We're presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, where they're showing SummerSlam this weekend, Saturday and Sunday night. So if you're a wrestling fan, make sure you get to the Potawatomi Sportsbook Saturday night and or Sunday night. It is a first-time ever 2-night event. I know if you're a wrestling fan, you know that WrestleMania has been a 2-night event for the past 3-4 years. SummerSlam now a 2-night event as well. We are monitoring the trade deadline, but I'm going to go back in time. I'm going to go back to yesterday. We're going to talk about that Brewers-Cubs game at AmFam Field yesterday, the things I saw, the things I liked, the things I didn't like, where we go from now as the Brewers head to the trade deadline today and to Washington, D.C. tomorrow. Again, my name's Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. It's Thunder at the Fair on The Fan. This is Thunder at the Fair. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. Special programming here on The Fan. Yes, you're used to hearing me on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, Monday through Friday from 9 to 11. But I figured Tommy and Mason could hold it down themselves because somebody said, hey, Mitch, you want to go to the fair? And I was like, hey, Van, what do you think? And Van was like, let's do it, yes. And I was like, Jack, what should we do? And Jack was like, giddy up, bro. So here we are at the Wisconsin State Fair. And let's see, can you see me on YouTube now?
You can see you on YouTube. You are there.
Oh my gosh, here I am. Do I have to mute any? Is everything muted the way it should be?
You are all good.
Fantastic. Wow, excellent. All right, so I'm here at State Fair. It is day one. The music is blasting, multiple stages. The food is hot. The food is delicious. I got a show. Let's see if for everybody who, we might have to figure out how to show this to people later too. There is.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That looks good.
So while Jack and Van are not holding the tent down because of the wind tunnel we're in, I expect you guys to dig into that funnel cake. Let's go. We are here on the Fan, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, and we're watching the MLB trade deadline. We're going to keep watching it. I'm just hitting reload. Padres get the closer Mason Miller from the A's. Shane Bieber goes from the Guardians to the Blue Jays. Paul Sewald goes from the Guardians to the Tigers. It sure looks like the Guardians and the Twins are completely giving up. They're giving the division to the Tigers. They're rebuilding for next year. And I feel like late last night, I don't know, like 11-ish or whenever Jeff Passan or whoever else had it, came out with the news that the Mariners are finalizing a deal for third baseman Eugenio Suarez. So we will keep our eye on everything going on. And apparently, before we get to yesterday's Brewers-Cubs game, Charlie, for some reason, the Reds seem to be all in on making deals. They don't pay a whole lot for Brian Hayes, who is a Gold Glove third baseman. He hasn't learned to hit yet at the major league level, but if he does, they got a steal. And they're getting pitchers. Like, what are the Reds like? I know they're only 3 games out of the wild card, but what are the Reds doing, man?
I don't know. I think they're kind of expecting maybe the Cubs or the Brewers to fall apart here for some reason.
Happen. That's
not going to happen. That's what
it's got to be a wild card situation. But then we see San Diego get a new closer, so I don't see who, because if it's between the Phillies and the Mets, one of those cards is in as a wild card. Between the Cubs and the Brewers, one of those teams is in as a wild card. So if the Reds think they can catch the Padres, great, I think. I guess I could also see, Hayes is a nice young player, and they do have control. It's not that's not a rental. Like, they get him for a couple years.
Hayes is also who he is at this point in his career as well. That's the other thing. Like, he's a fantastic defensive player. I think if you look at his career WAR, he has a 14.6 career WAR. That's with 39 career home runs and 554 hits on a 254 average. That makes zero sense. That's how good defensively he is.
Yes. Exactly.
Like, I know that you feel you could probably work with that. The Reds probably need a little bit of that, especially with a very young team. They want somebody to kind of give them a little help there. At the same time, I don't think his bat's getting any better at this point in his career. What is the point of that?
Yeah, they must think they see something in it that they can make it just – because even if it's just a little bit better, I think his impact can be stronger. The Reds also get starter Zach Littell from the Tampa Bay Rays, and then a bunch of relief. The Mets have picked up a bunch of relievers. The Dodgers have picked up a bunch of relievers. I think we all believe that the Brewers will get a reliever or two. I don't know who it'll be, but at some point they will get a reliever or two, right?
They're going to kill their entire bullpen if they don't. I think they need to go out there and get somebody to relieve some of these relievers. I think right now you're looking at guys like Jared Koenig starting to kind of falter a little bit. A guy like Abner Uribe start to have his moments where he's faltering a little bit. Those guys need breaks. They're pitching a lot, especially if your starting pitchers aren't going 5+ innings.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like we mentioned last segment, with Mizrowski and Woodruff, you never know. Like 6 is kind of their max. I don't think we'll be surprised if they go 5 more often than 6. And so you need some more depth in that bullpen. This is Thunder at the Fair. 414-677-1250 is the Nicola Law Fan Talk and Text line. If you want to text into the show, you can let us know your favorite thing to eat at the fair. You can let us know how mad you are about the Brewers not getting Eugenio Suarez. Everything in between. You can give us a call as well. You can call us from the fair. You can be standing across the street, the fairway from me. and give me a call. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. Mark Baden coming up later in this hour in about 10 minutes or so. But I did want to get to yesterday's game. And, Charlie, we all love you at the station. And when you started at the station, you were like 90% Chicago sports fan, 10% Milwaukee sports fan. You are now like 52% Chicago sports fan, 48% Milwaukee sports fan. I know it's part of the job, but I think you must have always had it in you. That like, yeah, your dad taught you how to be a Chicago sports fan, but you're from here. You bleed Wisconsin, and you can't have Wisconsin pride without having some love for the Brewers. Maybe not the Packers as much. I feel like your Bears loyalty is probably a little stronger than your Cubs loyalty. But so when a game like yesterday happens and the Cubs just are rolling, it's 10-3, like what emotions are you feeling? Formerly Chicago Charlie, now you're kind of crosstown Charlie. Maybe one day you'll move in with Tommy and you'll be Cudahy Charlie.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I could ever be Cudahy. I'm a Brookfield boy. That's where I was growing up.
I know. That's fair.
But watching a game like yesterday, I just love watching these series at this point. I've grown up in Miller Park, at Bradley Center, at places where I watched these Milwaukee teams my entire childhood. And yes, I was watching the Chicago teams too, but there's always been that little bit of love there. And when they're playing each other, sometimes it's a little easy to cheer for the Chicago teams because that's my favorite team. This series, I was kind of back and forth. William Contreras hit a home run, and I was cheering for William Contreras. I mean, Pete Crow Armstrong has a couple RBI doubles in this series. Kyle Tucker has a good series. I'm cheering for them too. It's just fun to watch good baseball, and what I saw in this series from both these teams at different points was good baseball.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the takeaway. Even though none of the three games ended up being close, right? The Brewers won pretty handily. They were down. The first game, the closest was when they were down 3-0, but then they took over and ended up winning that first game 8-4. But none of the three games were particularly close, so you didn't have a nail biter at the end. But you saw two. We can say really good, but I'm willing to say excellent. Like, these are two excellent baseball teams. That doesn't mean they don't have holes. That doesn't mean the Cubs' starting pitching can't get better, because it can. That doesn't mean the Brewers can't fix shortstop or the bullpen like we talked about, because they can. But you mentioned, Bill Contreras, and when he's a professional hitter, we call him Bill, on the Mason Crosby show. I know his name's William, and he speaks through a translator, even though he probably can speak English decently. But William Contreras with 2 solo home runs yesterday, up to 8 on the season, which is kind of crazy that you would think that he and Sal Frelick are like neck and neck hitting home runs after Frelick hits 2 last year. And Contreras, you would expect hitting more like 20 home runs a year. He hasn't hit well, especially has not hit well for power. Maybe this turns him around. But the vibe in the stadium, the energy in the stadium when these two teams get together. I know that Radar from 99.1 The Mix, our little sister station across the hall, likes to talk about how, and he's like diehard Cubs, wearing Cubs stuff every day. He's like, oh, it's Wrigley Park North. And then I know Tommy in Bayview, who's a loyal listener and calls in all the time. He wrote on my Facebook wall, like, Radar, I love you, but I hate when people say Wrigley Park North because it's just not, we have our own identity. But listen, there are times we go down to Chicago and we've created Miller Park South, or now American Family South, and that's part of rivalry, right? That's part of the fun that you have, that we have as fans, that we have as media, that we have as community members, that we have as neighbors and coworkers when you have two teams that are so close to each other. Listen, we know the Cubs and the White Sox is going to be interfamily and messy sometimes, and part of that is because White Sox fans are just absolutely nuts and ridiculous. But we also know being so close, like there's a guy right here, Cubs shirt, Cubs hat. And you know what? Welcome to Wisconsin, my friend. We may disagree on the baseball field, but we agree in life. We love baseball. We love that it's a rivalry. And here's a guy with a Brew Crew jersey. And that's one of the things we talk about at Summerfest. That's one of the things we talk about at State Fair, is all the different jerseys. Like, we love when everybody from Illinois comes up, spends all their money, and then goes back home. And there's part of that rivalry. But I asked Pat Murphy yesterday at the post-game press conference, like if he noticed the crowd, because I got to be honest, I wasn't there Monday or Tuesday, and it seemed like when big things were happening, it got loud, but I don't know that it got loud. Like there was, like I wanted, when Miz is in that first inning, and the Cubs put 3 on him, and he gets 2 strikes on, who was the last hitter he faced? I don't know if it was Horner. It might have been Horner. I don't think
Horner
it was
or Shaw.
Or Shaw,
Shaw,
right? Horner or Shaw. Okay. Like with 2 strikes on him, the crowd should have been up. Like the crowd, first inning. But in a rivalry game like that, Milwaukee stand up, and the Brewers fans did not stand up. And I was kind of like, come on. Now, I got to say, yesterday, man, you know, it helps. It helps when the first pitch of the game is a home run, right? And Bush is a nice leadoff hitter for the Cubs right now, and the Cubs can rake. Listen, but as we saw, like one run isn't going to determine anything in these games when these two teams meet. But Cubs fans were loud yesterday, man, and so I asked Pat Murphy about it because I had to feel like on some level he's got to notice it, and he you know, he claims he doesn't. And then he has a whole different answer where he claims he does notice what's on the scoreboard, though, and, like, the trivia in between innings. And he, like, loves, like, the lookalike cam. Like, he loves that. He loves the lookalike cam, but he doesn't listen to the crowd at all. Oh, okay, Pat. You know, whatever, dude. But I will say, like, he did notice that the crowd was full, that the stands were full, and that there was, like, a buzz. He's not listening for what the buzz is necessarily. He's managing his team. But, man, the buzz in the crowd yesterday, and I know it was Cubs fans, and I know yesterday was Cubs Day, but it is great when the fans are loud and the fans are into it. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. That is the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. Give us a call, shoot us a text. Were you at any of the games this week? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Were you at any of the Brewers-Cubs games? Do you have season tickets, and that's how you got in? Or did you pay, and did you pay an arm and a leg? Did you pay just a little bit? Did you sell your tickets to a Cubs fan? Did you sell your tickets on Ticketmaster, or did you sell your Cubs to a friend or give them to a friends or family? Were you there? What did you do with your tickets? 414-677-1250 is the phone number if you want to chime in. I didn't see any fights. Now, granted, I'm in the press box, but you can see the stands. I didn't see any fights. I thought there were a couple times Koenig hit PCA with a curveball. Like it's not like he threw high and tight and tried to hit him. Like it was a terrible curveball that got away from him. But of course, the Cubs fans there was some pretty loud booing, and people wanted to get involved in that action. But I would say overall, it seemed to me good behavior. You know, we touched on it a little bit on the Mason Crosby show yesterday about the best rivalries. And, you know, historically, you're not going to beat Red Sox, Yankees. You're not going to beat Giants, Dodgers. But we all know that, like, Giants, Dodgers, like, guys get, like, put in comas in the parking lots. Like, we've seen that, too. And we've seen fights at AmFam Field. You know, when there's going to be tailgating, when there's going to be that much drinking, you're going to see fights. There's going to be fights in the stands. But I feel like, and maybe it's because both teams are really good, like, the fans are focused on the game right now. And that's, I got to say, that's a hard concept for Cubs fans because as Lee Elia's famous rant in the early 80s, like, what the hell are all these people doing here on a weekday day game? Because none of them have jobs. Cubs fans used to go to Wrigley just to party, right? Just to be there. And that's this year, for sure, that is not the case. Like, the Cubs fans and the Brewers fans, man, are locked in on what is happening on the field because these two teams are playing great baseball. These two teams are great teams. And again, we're monitoring the trade deadline today to see what happens with this team. Charlie Usen is here on the other side. Charlie, you good today?
Oh, I'm doing great today. It's nice not to be out in the hot, I guess. I would like to eat the food, but...
You know what? I will tell you, though, you know it was hot the past 5-6 days here. Mm-hmm. It is like mid-70s and breezy.
Beautiful.
It is absolutely perfect, beautiful. And so if anybody's coming to the fair... I mean, some people have a sweatshirt on. Some people have suns out, guns out, you know, showing the arms. Some people are wearing things they shouldn't be wearing. Some people are wearing absolutely appropriate. There's some Packers gear walking by right now. Well, coming up next, Mark Baden's going to jump on the show. Mark Baden, a big fan of State Fair. Also our, like, friendly hometown meteorologist from Channel 12. He'll give us a weather update, but Mark Baden's a huge sports fan, so we're going to get into the Brewers with him, what he wants to see at the trade deadline. We're going to get into the Packers with him. We're going to make fun of Dario Melendez and Stephanie Sutton and Jared Fialco, the sports team at Channel 12. Mark Baden's next. Thunder at the Fair. I'm Mitch Nellis. Yes, sweet home Wisconsin right here. It is the Wisconsin State Fair. My name's Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. Thunder at the Fair. I'm here today. I'm here tomorrow. I'm here all next week from 11 to 2. Tommy and Mason did an awesome job today on the Mason Crosby Show. There was never a doubt in my mind that they would. And now Tommy has the rest of the day off because there's no Brewers game today. There is the trade deadline, which we're keeping our eye on. But no leadoff show for Tommy. He'll be back doing the leadoff show tomorrow as the Milwaukee Brewers will be in the nation's capital taking on the Washington Nationals. Joining us now on a Thunder at the Fair, enjoying this absolutely beautiful weather, which he is fully responsible for. Because if we're going to blame him for the weather when it's bad out, we're going to give him kudos for the weather when it's nice out. He is the one, the only, from Channel 12 in Milwaukee, Mark Baden. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, Mitch. I dressed up for you, as you can see.
I appreciate that. So I'm giving you the kudos for the weather because everybody blames you when it's bad. Take the credit. Go ahead. Like, this is your moment to shine.
All right, I know it's thunder at the fair, but you know what we're not getting at the fair? Mother
What's
Nature's
that?
thunder, buddy. We just get your
Yes.
thunder. So
I love it.
It is perfection out here, except that one problem. You can probably see it in the sky behind me. It's milky looking. It's all the stinking smoke. Thanks, Canada. We really appreciate it. We get a beautiful day, and then you throw the smoke in and you kind of ruin it. But it's still nice. I mean, here's the thing. How many times have we had State Fair start off with 4 days, 5 days in a row with temperatures in the 70s and dew points in the 50s? That's like perfection.
Like never.
No,
Yeah.
It's always hot. It's always sticky. And, of course, it's always stormy at some point. But
Yes.
you couldn't ask for a better start.
No, that's absolutely right. So thank you. Thank you for the weather. But you're not just our friendly neighborhood weatherman. You're also, a Wisconsinite to your core. You're a big sports fan, so we got to bring you in and we got to ask, like, how are you taking the Milwaukee Brewers season so far? You know, there's been so much excitement. They're playing so well. Are you pins and needles? Do you take it in stride? Do you live and die with it? How are you viewing the Milwaukee Brewers so far this year?
I have to be honest with you. I did not have a lot of hope in this season. I really didn't. I mean, the team was, completely turned around. I mean, it was like brand new. So It was one of those, who are these guys moments. So the season started for me. I wouldn't say fair weather fan because I think I'm a little more than that. But I didn't wait on every pitch and watch. I didn't watch a ton of the early games. But
Sure.
like a lot of people, you start getting that momentum going and you start watching and you're like, I love the effort. I love the effort this team puts in. I mean, I give Pat Murphy all kinds of credit. And if anybody doesn't, I think they're crazy because he is getting out, and Matt Arnold, for goodness sake, everything he's touching right now turn into gold. So it's fun to watch. I mean, I grew up in St. Louis. Don't hold it against me. I am not a Cardinals
No, we know.
fan.
Yep, we know. You know.
So
Anymore.
Well, come on. I
know.
I was 12 in '82. That was a big deal.
I get it.
And so don't hate me because I was a Cardinals fan in '82. Not a Cardinals fan now. I mean, I did the forecasting for the grounds crew for 20 years, and so that kind of gets you get involved with the team. And so I'm definitely true blue now, and it's exciting. I mean, it's so exciting. I'm still curious if they're going to make any moves or if they're going to keep this chemistry.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're all watching today because today's the trade deadline, 5 p.m. Central, and we've seen a number of teams make trades, like Suarez, the big third baseman, power hitter, and from Arizona, maybe the Brewers could have made a deal there. He ends up going to Seattle. A lot of other trades with Cleveland and Detroit and Cincinnati and Tampa and the Mets and the Phillies. We haven't seen anything yet from the Brewers, and we also hear that that this team and their chemistry and their energy, you don't want to mess with the clubhouse too much. Not necessarily specifically about this Brewers team, but what are your thoughts about how important that idea of chemistry and camaraderie is with a professional team?
I'll take it back to even my weather team. So it's as simple as that. Believe me, I'm not comparing, but here's the thing. When I have a cohesive weather team and I have a great group right now that we all work so symbiotically together.
Yep.
And so it makes all the difference. So you want to come and you want to be friends with them. And so I feel like that's kind of what the Brewers are. I feel like these guys might even hang out when they're not on the field. I mean, they might be going to dinner together. They might go fishing together on the off day. They might go golfing today. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's a pie-in-the-sky Pollyanna look, but I truly feel like, maybe it's all an act, but it sure looks like these guys get along.
Yeah, it really does. And I think part of that is their youth, it is how young so many of them are, and that the older guys, the Yeliches and Contreras, who's not that old, but a little bit more of a veteran, really like leading the team. Like they don't seem to go their own way. They really do seem to enjoy being with the younger guys and guiding the younger guys. And so it's been a blast to watch this year. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the Brewers were 21-25, and they were underperforming. Like, we all thought they were better than that, but I don't think anybody thought they were best record in baseball good.
I thought they're a 500 team. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought they were a 500 team. But they clearly proved me wrong, and I think a lot of other folks. It's still funny to see. I mean, when you're watching any of the network sports stuff.
Oh, they never talk about the Brewers, ever.
They're such an afterthought. They always will be until they win a doggone World Series. I truly want to see it. I wanted to see it while Euchre was still alive.
Of course.
But maybe his magic can come down, and this is the season. I don't know. The team has the talent to do it. Their pitching staff is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It has been fun to watch. So Jacob Mizorowski obviously has taken the world by storm. He's the only one who I think that nationally people pay attention to, at least to this point.
And people are already trying to get him to go play per se, but they're already talking about, he'd be great for this team and that team.
Well, we deal with that with Giannis too, though, right? Like,
absolutely.
People just aren't going to take Milwaukee seriously, are they?
No, they don't. That's fine. They don't have to. I love it here. You love it here. A lot of other people love it here.
Exactly, and that's good enough for us. It was funny. I was looking. There was an article on ESPN like 2 days ago about the top 8 teams that need to make a trade. And it's literally the top 8 teams in Major League Baseball except for the Milwaukee Brewers. Like, just article after article after article. No one's mentioning. Now, every once in a while, they'll throw in a trade rumor. It's a little different with the Packers, though. They just had some article on ESPN where they presented 5 trades, and 2 of them had to deal with the Packers. And that does go to show, like, how the Packers brand does conquer all when it comes to the sports world.
Oh, clearly. The Packers brand is so much bigger than Wisconsin. But the Brewers brand is Wisconsin. The Bucks brand is pretty much Wisconsin, but it's a little bigger because, of course, you have, one of the greatest players to ever play.
Right.
But you know what? It's okay to go under the radar. Forgive the weather pun.
Yeah, I got it. I got it right away.
So it's okay as long as this team just rides this out and Vaughn continues to touch gold with everything he's done. That has been insanity.
What a steal! What a steal! All right, so I want to let's talk about Vaughn for a second because Vaughn was a high draft pick. Actually had a couple decent years with the White Sox, but it's like that's what Matt Arnold does. He finds Quinn Priester, who's 10-2. He finds Andrew Vaughn, who over the past 3 weeks has had, is the best hitter in all of Major League Baseball.
21 RBIs. Come on.
Right. That is insane. I don't think any of us expect them to continue at that level, but if they can continue putting that's what makes it so hard to say, oh, yeah, they need to make a big trade. Because, you got Caleb Durbin. Okay, well, he's just he's not ready yet. And then he comes up and all he does is hit and field. And then you got Isaiah Collins. And it's like we were talking to the play-by-play guy of the Nashville Sounds. They didn't know who he was last year. They were like, who is this guy? And then he comes up and all he does is hit. And then this year, all he does is hit. And it's like, why would you replace guys who are performing at this level?
Well, it's also exciting because you got a lot of these guys for years. So the core of this team should be hanging together. The farm system has worked out. These trades have worked out. I give credit to the Brewers. It's exciting to watch, and it's really cool to see the stadium full almost every single game now. That's, it really will build to a crescendo if we can keep this can keep this ride going all the way in through September. And I got a feeling it is going to be a horse race with the Cubs. They're not going to go away. They have that lineup is ridiculous.
It's going to go down to the wire. I totally agree. You're listening to Thunder at the Fair, special programming during the Wisconsin State Fair. Your radio is not broken. I'm normally on from 9 to 11 with Mason Crosby. Instead, I'm on 11 to 2 every day, every weekday. So today, tomorrow, and all of it next week at the Fair. Mark Baden, meteorologist, chief, head, superstar meteorologist from Channel 12, joining us. And so we thank you for the weather here at State Fair. Beautiful opening day, mid-70s, sunny, partly hazy because of Canada, as you mentioned. I smelled it the first thing I got when I got out of the house this morning. How much, you focus on Milwaukee weather, I'm sure. How much do you watch the weather in Green Bay? We got family night coming up this weekend. They do all these outdoor practices that are open to the fans. How much do you keep an eye on what the weather is going to look like for the Packers during training camp?
I mean, I certainly look at it, but, I defer to my good buddy and former colleague, Luke Stampy, who's a meteorologist in Green Bay. So he's kind of my go-to guy. I trust what he puts out there, so I'll be honest, I don't spend that much time on Green Bay because I can look at his forecast and I'm like, Luke will be right.
But speaking of Green Bay, the expectations a little bit higher this year. Jordan Love, his first year, not great at the first half, and then the best quarterback on earth the second half of the year. Last year, week one, gets banged up, has a very good year, but not a great year. What do you expect from the Packers this year? Are you all in on the Packers? Do you think that they can compete at the highest level?
I'm tempering my expectations on the Packers.
I like that.
It's going to be hard to do well in that division.
Yeah.
Will the Lions take a step back some more? Probably. The Packers certainly have the nucleus. I think they need maybe a couple more pieces. You never know. And though you get hot and you just avoid the injuries. You play well at the end, just like every other sport, for goodness sake. I mean,
But especially in football, right?
Yeah, because that's where it all seems. I mean, it clicks, and you get only a few guys that go down on injury, and clearly no key injuries, and then you have a chance. And that's where we hope that they get. But I think it's good. They're good. I don't know if they're great.
If Jordan Love can take that next step, I feel like they have the opportunity to get to great. And I think that's still a question mark. Like I don't know that anyone can answer that. We hope it happens, but
I think this is the year that he has to kind of make that next step because it was kind of it was okay last year. Certainly not bad, but not anything that was that exciting. I'd like to see some bigger games out of him, and see. We'll see. I mean, he hasn't had the greatest receiver core to work with. Let's be honest.
No, and we'll see what Matthew Golden does to change that, what a focus more on the tight ends and what Tucker Kraft can do. I'm excited for the season. I think it's going to be a fun one, as long as there's no, tweaking your knee at the end of week one, because that kind of, they still had a good season, but it wasn't as good as we thought it could have been. And it all goes back to that week one injury in Brazil on a questionable turf and a questionable field.
That's a great idea. Let's go to Brazil and play on whatever that was.
I didn't love it. Mark Baden, thank you so much for jumping on today. Do you have any weather news to share with us for the next few days for everybody coming out to the Wisconsin State Fair?
I mean, unless you have some type of lung problems and asthma, because the smoke does affect you, these are the days that you should be going. Because if you don't like the super hot and humid, I mean, come on. The first 4 days of the fair is perfection. It's going to look just like this. And hopefully, by the way, the smoke should get better by Saturday. So if it bothers you, you can hang for a few days. I'm guessing it's going to be big crowds because it's so darn comfortable. And people often, they avoid the fair when it's those days that are 95 with a dew point of 75. You're not getting that this time. Next chance of rain isn't until the middle of next week, and that's even a small chance. The State Fair may have one of the best runs of weather they've ever had. And I love the fair. Get out there and enjoy it. It's awesome.
Absolutely. I remember Tuesday I had a softball doubleheader, and like even before I started playing, I was dripping. I mean, I had like sweat in my eyes. I couldn't even see, and the contrast to today and just how beautiful it is outside. Everybody, let's get to the fair. Come on. Mark Baden said so.
Let's do it. I just got done mowing the grass, and I barely broke a sweat. Not bad.
I love it. Well, Mark, thank you so much for jumping on. We'll definitely catch up soon, and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Sounds good. You too, Mitch.
Thank you so much. He is Mark Baden, Chief Meteorologist, Channel 12 here in Milwaukee. And Charlie, how you feeling about things right now?
I'm feeling pretty good. I might have to stop by the fair tonight if it's going to be this nice out.
I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. When we come back in the 12 o'clock hour, we're going to talk some Packers, what's going on at training camp, some of the news and notes we're hearing, some of the things that Andy Herman talked about on Pack-A-Day Radio this morning. We've got guests coming up, Peter Bukowski at 12:20, Tim McCormick from the fair at 12:40, and then Jeff McCarthy from Bank 5-9, the sponsor of the main stage here at State Fair, in the 1 o'clock hour. My name is Mitch Doss, a.k.a. Thunder. You're listening to Thunder at the Fair on The Fan.